Be sure to subscribe and click on the bell for notifications on future uploads. Hello everyone, Sulli-Days here, and welcome to some more of Happy Sulli-Days. Every year I do a Happy Sulli-Days, I always review a special or more from Rankin, as they are the masters of making Christmas specials, with their great characters, fun songs, nice animation, and stories full of holiday joy, wonder, and cheer, all wrapped up in a franchise filled to the brim with charm. And this year, I'm taking a look at their last Christmas special that aired only once, almost 20 years ago. It's the obscure and kind of underrated special to feature a cast of mainly black actors and characters. Santa Baby. The special, narrated by a partridge named Melody Songbird, takes place on Neptune Street 1 year ago when the city was in ruin, the park was a dump, and everyone was mean to each other. But one man named Noel is very busy trying to write a new Christmas song. Now he doesn't have time for his family, especially his daughter Dakota, who's trying to help the animals in an animal shelter get adopted for Christmas. Yet the building manager, Mr. Sweet, is tired of having the animals around without a home, and even doesn't like Christmas. But one day, Dakota and her cat Emerald find Melody in a snowbank and bring her home, where she reveals herself as the partridge in a pear tree and is able to grant wishes. Dakota wishes her dad to have a hit song, which at first Melody refuses but then accepts. Melody then goes to Noel and starts Dakota's wish by having Noel be the Santa Claus of Neptune Street, ringing a bell for charity, donating used clothes, giving out meals to seniors, and thus bringing Christmas spirit back to the city. Yet Noel still hasn't made a new Christmas song, and Mr. Sweet tries to sabotage the animal shelter as the animals run amok outside the shelter and being with Dakota. Early on when I said the special was kind of underrated, I mean that the special itself is just okay. But in comparison to the other Rankin Christmas specials that came beforehand, this one, however, just doesn't have a similar charm or feel, despite it trying to. It doesn't have any modern-day technology around, but it does have, at least, the look of a Rankin special, as a few of the original creators came in for this, such as Arthur Rankin Jr. as an executive producer, Masashi Ishuka as an animation producer, and Paul Coker as the character designer. Even some of the backgrounds have a similar look. But the animation has more motion than in the past because, back then, it didn't look too busy, since TV animation had a limited quality compared to theatrical animation. And Rankin was a joint collaboration between American and Japanese studios, with Japan doing the animation, and America doing the writing, voiceover, sound, music, songs, and overseeing the production. But this special aired in 2001, years later after the last one aired in 1985. So even though this is a Rankin special, it doesn't live up to what I expected, and it's not just from the animation, but also from the story and songs. With a title like Santa Baby and coming from Rankin you would expect it to be based on the song of the same name. But when the plot is about a songwriter trying to write a new Christmas song, you'd think, or at least I thought, the song he would come up would be Santa Baby, kind of doing a fictional retelling of how the song was made. But it really isn't, because the song Santa Baby is sung only once during the special, from Noel's wife, Alyssa, when she sees him dressed as Santa, but plays around with him being Santa. And Melody magically makes Emerald sing along, who is voiced by Eartha Kitt, who originally sung the song in the 60s, and is oddly typecast to play a cat whenever she's on screen, animated or not. Oh, and the name Santa Baby becomes Melody's nickname for Noel. The songs that are used here is a rather pitiful amount, as there's only like 3 songs, and one of them seems to be original. The other song is Jingle Bells, but done in a variety of song styles from hip-hop, to rap, to soul, and traditional. And this is done while the whole street comes together to decorate a tree in the park. And the original song is The Heart and Soul of Christmas, which becomes Noel's hit song. And what got him to write it comes from the people coming together to repair the animal shelter that got flooded and frozen overnight by Mr. Sweet. Though Noel writes the tune to this song on the wall, and I like to think the noises that the community makes in repairing the shelter becomes the melody of the song, at least from what I got, as it's kind of vague. Yet the song itself isn't going to be much and isn't going to be very memorable, from my viewpoint. The story itself isn't much either, yet where it does a fine job, there are elements that are questionable and odd. For instance, Dakota's wish to Melody is to have her father have a hit song, yet Melody has Noel dressed up as Santa to begin with. Of course, the characters wonder how being Santa is going to help Noel get a hit song. Well, it seems through Noel helping the community come together to help those in need and bring Christmas spirit and celebration back to town, everyone came together to help the animal shelter, and through the power of community, Noel gained inspiration to write a hit song. Yes, the special goes for a realistic approach, despite there being a magical bird, animals that understand each other as different species, and an ending that seems rather odd and confusing. After Noel has his song made, Melody takes him and Dakota to the North Pole, where they meet Santa Claus, who makes Noel Santa for Christmas Eve, which has Melody state that all the helping he did for Neptune Street was training to become Santa Claus, and that the real Santa had sent Melody to find and train someone to be Santa, since he got a broken leg. But all this Santa stuff turns out to be a dream, which concludes the special of Noel having a hit song, and Mr. Sweet having a heart, and allowing pets in the building, even to having a kitten from the animal shelter he named Snowflake. Oh, and the reason why Mr. Sweet doesn't like Christmas is because his wife died. Yeah, it's a cliched reason and is only explained in a few sentences. Yeah, the story has a lot going on, which is something the other Rankin Bass specials don't do. They're meant to be simple and even made sense in context of what's being told. This one goes all over the place and has characters and songs that I would forget. It's like Disney's The Princess and the Frog. It's a return to traditional animation and a retelling of a classic fairy tale, yet set in 1920s New Orleans with black characters getting focus. But the amount of comedy and characters thrown in, having more reality than fiction, and making a fairy tale a little more complex was simply too much, and it tried too hard to make everyone enjoy it. Though while that movie is enjoyable in the end, this special isn't so much. It doesn't try to make everyone like it or force too much aside from the story, but I don't exactly hate it. I again just find it okay. And what I like about it is few but almost worth it. The songs, despite how few there are okay, the animation for a Rankin Bass special is nicely done, and I did like this running joke of Melody singing a verse from the 12 Days of Christmas, and the verse magically comes to life, either to wake Noel up or surprise Dakota. And the actors voicing the characters are okay. Gregory Hines voices Noel, Patti LaBelle voices Melody Songbird, Vanessa Williams voices Elisa, Eartha Kitt voices Emerald, Tom Joyner voices Mr. Sweet, and Keena Underwood voices Dakota. As a whole, this special is fine. The characters are okay, the story is alright, I think, the animation is nice, yet somewhat better than the previous Rankin Bass specials, and the songs are fine. Director Lee Dashner had made an animated special for Rankin Bass that, while it may have several members of the original team working on it, doesn't quite carry the same charm or appeal as their classic specials, with a semi-rushed pacing, odd story points, very few songs that could be forgettable, and attempts at recapturing the feel and mood of the original specials that don't hit much of a home run. I don't think it's a bad special, especially for being the last one from Rankin Bass, but with it airing only once and coming out after the heydays of Rankin Bass, it doesn't feel as impressive. But even for all its flaws, it's still okay. So today, this special will be getting a rating of 2.5 make stars. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon, and until next time for more of Happy Sulli-Days.